Our next tool that we're going to look at on the toolbar is going to be our pivot point and our coordinate system. The first one we see is our center. If we click on this, we can toggle between center and pivot. And how center and pivot work, this is based on where the pivot point of the object is. So if we're on pivot, this is going to show us where the original pivot point for the object is. If we change this to center, center is going to show you where the center of the pivot is based on the bounding box of the object. So a group or a selection is going to do the same thing. If we continue to add to this selection, it's going to take that group and find the center of that group and place the pivot point at that point. If we continue to add, it does the same thing. Now, if we change it from center to pivot, it's going to be giving us the last pivot point of our selection. So if I select here, here, or here, the last point, the last object I select, is going to be where the pivot point is placed and the handles are going to work. Now, the next option we have is our coordinate system. We have a local and a global. Pretty straightforward if you used other 3D applications. The local is based on the object's position, and then the global is based on the world position, the world coordinates. So if we select on one object, we have local. Right now, the x, y, and z are pretty straightforward. It's left and right. It looks an awful lot like if we do the global. Same kind of thing. But if we start to rotate this object, let's say we rotate this object about 30 degrees. Now that we've rotated it, and we go back to our move tool, the global still has it pointing this direction, front and back, left and right, up and down. But if we switch it to our local, you'll notice that the handles have changed directions, and now they're local to this object. The coordinate system is based on this object. So now if we move it along its x, y, and z axis. If we do with our rotation tools, you can see that the rotation tools are going to work the same. Rotation tools right now are based on the local, now on the global. So if we rotate it based on the global, it's going to be a little bit offset on that rotation. So depending on the need that you have when you're staging your assets or working with your assets, you may need to adjust that local global coordinate system to make it work just right for you while you're placing objects and working with your objects.